what's up YouTube? This is Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. I'm going to show you how to change your front brake pads on a 2007 Honda Accord. Now the first thing I like to do before taking off this caliper is press the caliper piston back inside the caliper by just grabbing a screwdriver and putting it in through this little opening or window and pulling it towards you. Before compressing the caliper, I like to take a look under the hood at the master cylinder to verify that we have enough room for that fluid that's going to be displaced upwards. We can open this up and just take a peek inside, and you can see actually on the outside, I don't know if that's showing up on the camera, but our level is pretty low still. Whoops, my little lid thing came off. So you can see that there's enough room once I press the caliper piston back in for that fluid to rise. A lot of people ask me if they need to take the lid off or not. You really don't, because this lid is vented, and so it will allow that air to escape once you compress the caliper piston back in. But sometimes I'll take it off just so I can closely monitor the level of fluid as it comes back up. Another thing to point out is if the fluid is really black or brown in color, it's probably time to change it. Now there's test strips that you can use to test your brake fluid to verify the quality. Brake fluid eventually will get old and dirty, and it will be a good thing to flush and change. In this case, it's really not too bad, so I'm not going to bother changing it. I'm just going to prop the lid right here for right now. Now, a lot of people ask or comment, why we don't bleed the brakes after just replacing the pads. And the main reason is because we're not opening this bleeder valve or not introducing any air into the system. Now, some people, when they compress the caliper, they open this bleeder valve to push the old fluid out, and that's fine. You can do that, especially if the fluid is getting old or dark in color. In this case, I'm not going to open that screw or that bleeder screw. We're just going to compress the piston, not allowing any air to enter into the system. We're not going to be bleeding the brakes. So all that to say, we can easily just put this screwdriver in here now, and you're just pulling that towards you, and what that does is that pushes that caliper piston back in and will make room for the new pad material. There we go. Then we can loosen and remove these two 14mm caliper bolts. And a socket wrench is fine. This is just this new brushless fuel 3/8 impact that I just picked up, so I thought I would use it. And that's what those bolts look like. We can set those aside. We will need to put those back in. And then we can pull off the caliper, and sometimes I'll just grab a bungee cord or a hook or something. In this case, that's what I'm going to do, is just hang this up above here, out of the way. There we go. Okay, now we can pull off the old springs here. These are just these little V springs that push the pads apart. These pads are really not worn down too bad, but we're doing the back brakes on this vehicle, and they decided to do the fronts as well. So we're going to change everything out. Now some kits come with these new springs right here. These are just, I guess, clips that the pads ride on, and sometimes they wear out. This kit did come with them, but they're the wrong kind, and so I'm going to end up just cleaning these up with the wire brush and reusing them. Another thing we're going to do is pull out these slide pins. Sometimes you just twist this out and kind of pull back on the boot and wipe off the old grease. Sometimes I'll put it in again once or twice just to get additional grease out of there. And then we're going to add some new grease. In this case, Sil Glide is what I'm using. It's important that you don't use a petroleum-based grease. Regular grease will, and it'll make these things get stuck. It's not what it's designed for. And then when you pull them in, kind of just push on the boot just a little bit. Sometimes I'll just kind of squeeze that rubber boot as you pull it back in, so to burp any air out of there. Do the same thing with the bottom one here. This one does not have the rubber piece at the end, but take it out, put it in once or twice just to get any of that excess grease out of there. Just a lot of dust and dirt from the brake pads will build up in there. And then coat this with some new grease. Not too much. Push it back in. Do the same thing with these little boots, just kind of pull it up into place. Now, this one is wanting to really push back outward. What happens sometimes, and it may be going on here, is this rubber in the end is swollen and it's trapping air. Sometimes when that happens, you can replace these or put in new slide pins, or if you're real careful, you can just make a little relief cut in this rubber boot, like what I'm doing. And you can see it's already got these little divots, and I'm just cutting them just a hair deeper. It's an old trick I've picked up over the years. Just like that. Just a little sliver of that material. Still looks the same, but that will allow the air to not get trapped. Sometimes I'll do more than one. You can see it's already got these little slots in this bushing, but these will swell over time. And then what happens is, if you push that in and it's constantly pushing outward, see now you could just, it goes in and it stays where it's supposed to. If it's got constant pressure pushing this direction, it's going to drag this outside pad and cause that to wear down prematurely. But now just by doing that little mini relief cut, I had to do the same thing on the other side, so I kind of expected it. But now those slide pins working the way they're supposed to, and they're not binding up, but more importantly, they're not compressing so much air and pushing back out. Okay, now I'm going to clean off these little areas. This is basically where that little pad retainer clip sits. This is unfortunately, this is where a lot of rust will build up, and I've had quite a few commenters also mention on these clips that instead of putting the grease up on the top here where the brake pad moves, is they're also putting grease underneath. I live in Southern California where we don't get a lot of rust. This car looks like it is getting a lot of rust. I don't know if it's originally from this area, but I'm still going to reuse these clips, just brushing them a little bit to get rid of some of that dust and dirt on there. And I'm going to go ahead and just try just a little teeny dab. I know this looks like a lot, but I'm just going to try to use this all the way around and put a little grease under these clips and on top, which will hopefully prevent some of that rust buildup underneath. And here again is that clip. I'm going to get a little bit of grease underneath. Not so much, because we don't want this spilling out onto the pads or onto the pad surface braking material. And we'll make sure we don't get any on the rotor either. Same thing here. Get that clip all cleaned up and greased up and snap it into place. Now, like I mentioned, this kit did come with new clips, but they just didn't fit at all. They're a little too wide, probably just for a different year or a different vehicle. That happens sometimes, so we're reusing the old ones. Now on the brake pads, the new pad, before we put these in here, you can see these are Wagner pads. It's a good looking brake pad, but this is the OE. It's apparently what's recommended by the manufacturer. And I like to put a little bit of that same brake grease on the back, and usually I put a little bit at these ends, but I've already put quite a bit here in these retainer clips, so we'll just position that in place. Careful to not get any grease on the surface of the pad, and same with this one here. Very thin layer. This really is only making contact on the inside of the caliper, this little frame right here, these two portions, and on the face of that piston. But it's just to put this little thin layer of grease really does seem to cut down on some of the noise and reduces some of that friction or vibration on the outside of the pad. Now we can put our little V-springs back in, and these just go into these little holes in the edge of the pad. It's a good idea to hold the pads together while you do this with one hand. Otherwise, if you put them on sometimes like that, it'll want to pop out. Those apply pressure outward to prevent the pads from dragging. Okay, so that's the tricky part. Just kind of put the caliper back down while holding those springs in. And we can put these bolts back in. Just get them started by hand. And I just have this on the lowest setting just to get these snug. And then this is a 4-cylinder vehicle, and the torque spec on this is 26 foot-pounds. So we're going to torque these to 26. A quick note, the torque specs are different for the 4-cylinder and the 6-cylinder, so make sure you verify that. But this one's the 4-cylinder, and we're going with the 26 foot-pounds on these caliper bolts. That's pretty much it. Just remember to step on the brake pedal before you head on down the road, and of course double check the level on your master cylinder. My recommendation when you step on that brake pedal is don't press all the way to the floor. Just go ahead and press part way down 2 or 3 times until that pedal is firm, and what that's doing is pushing these caliper pistons back outward via the master cylinder, pushing the fluid back out and pressing the pads up against the rotor where they need to be. Again, top off the master cylinder when you finish that. Make sure everything's torqued to spec and you're set to head on down the road. Hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. I'll put a link in the description to some of the parts and tools used in this video as well. I'm also going to replace the rear pads on this same vehicle, so keep a lookout for that video as well. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.